Hello, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in. My name is Curtis, and I am a psychotherapist that would like to help, anyone that may have questions about therapy, and just the whole therapy process. So, with that said, let's get started talking about what happens when you've been diagnosed. I think that is something that it can be overwhelming, frustrating, a range of different emotions that may come about: anger, sadness, confusion, shame. The list goes on. With that said, let's say you're diagnosed with anxiety. Now what? Let's say you're diagnosed with depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder. What are the next steps? I encourage you to ask your therapist, ask your mental health professional as many questions as you need to as they come up. It could be in that first session. You may have to think about it for a week, for a month, and ask them more questions as they come about. Jot down some notes about what you're concerned about or just what you're experiencing. Um, a big part of mental health treatment therapy is helping you really just process some of your emotions, your thoughts, your attitudes about what you're experiencing in life. And that doesn't change when you receive your diagnosis, if you receive some type of diagnosis. But basically, what I'm saying is, we as mental health professionals are here to help you. A part of helping, right, is supporting you with processing your emotions, giving you more accurate information about whatever mental health condition, concern, trauma, just helping you understand the impact that these things may have on your life, and your day-to-day functioning. So ask your therapist as many questions that you need to, so that you can make sense of what it is that you are experiencing. What are the symptoms? How come your struggles may look different from somebody else that has the same condition? How come it doesn't look like what I see on television or in movies? Um, you know, it is super important that you learn more about whatever mental health condition it is that you may be diagnosed with. The more you know, the more about the condition, it just helps you kind of, ease some of that anxiety, ease some of that, the myths about mental health conditions and what it looks like, and hopefully give you hope that it's possible to move forward. It's possible to still live a life that you enjoy, despite you having, um, you know, a struggle that you may need some extra support with. I also don't want to skip over the fact of, this mental health condition, this diagnosis that you receive may help you make sense of what you've been experiencing. I think that is something that I think is sometimes skipped when we talk about receiving a diagnosis. It may give you clarity. It may really put to words a lot of what you are experiencing, and it could help you have a better understanding of different strategies, coping skills, things that you can do to manage these symptoms. Um, so, with that said, I really want to make sure that we recognize that it's not always a feeling of sadness. It could be relief that, hey, this is something that can be managed with medication, can be managed with coping skills, or again, whatever strategy, whatever formula for treatment is needed for your condition, for you to help you live a better life. Um, it may start with the diagnosis. It could start with simply just putting uh, a label on just the basics of some of the challenges that you're having. Next, we're going to talk about medication. Not every mental health condition requires medication in order to work through the symptoms that you may be experiencing. Sometimes therapy just consists of coping skills, working through and processing your emotions or the challenges that you're having, excuse me. It could look like helping you develop better boundaries to support you in these relationships, or to, try different strategies to approaching the challenges that you may be experiencing. However, there are some mental health conditions where I've seen medication be essential to really addressing the symptoms that some people may be experiencing. I have some experience working with those that struggle with schizophrenia, And I can say that, without the medication, they wouldn't have been able to continue to function at a safe level due to the impact that the schizophrenia was having on their day to day thoughts, their functioning, and just overall their emotions, the whole nine. With that said, these are questions. This is a conversation that you want to have with your therapist, with your psychiatrist, so that they can keep your attitudes in mind about medication um, when they are when you are collaborating with them to try to figure out how you are going to resolve the challenges that you're having. Lastly, now that you may have received this diagnosis, I want you to ask yourself this question: how do the symptoms from this diagnosis show up throughout my life? How do they show up in my relationships? Whether that be with your friends, the relationship that you have with yourself, with your romantic partner. I want you to think about how, do these symptoms show up in your thoughts and your emotions? Um, is it making it a lot harder for you to get through the day, to overcome challenges that may come up along the way? I want you to consider, now that you have a label to kind of make sense of what it is that you're experiencing, what does this mean to you? Do you view yourself like you are different from everyone else? Are you embarrassed? Are you ashamed about it? I want you to really take a moment to think about, how does this change the way that you view yourself, um, and bring that to therapy. One of the hard truths that I've grown to recognize throughout my 3 years working in the mental health field is that the mental health condition doesn't solve the issue at hand. It gives the person that may be diagnosed a better understanding of what it is that they are experiencing, and it helps anyone that's a part of your team, psychiatrist, therapist, have a better understanding of how to approach the challenges that you're having. Because again, if we know that you have depression, we know that antidepressants may help. However, none of this is guaranteed, and I say that to say, the mental health diagnosis is a step towards clarity. It's a step towards giving us a framework of how to support you, and it gives you a better understanding of some of the things that you may be experiencing. However, what I've learned is that the hard part is developing coping skills and finding the right medication that will help you be a better version of yourself, that will help you feel better. Um, Nevertheless, without a mental health condition, without that label, you can be kind of walking aimlessly and really unsure about what the issue is at hand. So again, it really is important to keep that in mind when we talk about mental health conditions, and just what they mean to you, what they mean in the world. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor and drop a like, share it with a friend, save it, do the whole nine. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Take care.